You believe you live in a world of solid objects, of firm beliefs, of undeniable facts. But the most fundamental fact of your entire existence, the unquestioned assumption upon which your whole life is built, is a complete illusion. That fact is the belief that you are the voice in your head. You have spent a lifetime listening to its commentary, obeying its commands, fearing its anxieties, believing yourself to be this restless, thinking mind. But there is a truth, a direct, experiential proof, that can shatter this illusion in an instant. It is not something you need to believe. It is something you are about to experience. And once you do, the prison of the mind will no longer have any walls. If you are ready to move beyond belief and into direct knowing, if you are prepared to encounter the undeniable proof of your own boundless nature, then your journey begins with this next breath. Subscribe and join us in this sacred experiment. What you are about to prove to yourself has the power to end a lifetime of suffering. Part 1. The architecture of the mental prison. Before we can prove what lies beyond the mind, we must first intimately understand the nature of the prison in which we live. Let's start there, in the here and now. Feel the reality of your body in this moment. Its weight on the chair or bed. The subtle sensation of the fabric of your clothes touching your skin. The temperature of the air on your face. These are sensations, raw data. But observe what happens a microsecond after the sensation arises. The voice, the narrator, comes onto the scene to interpret it. I'm a bit cold. This chair is uncomfortable. My back hurts again. I should be more relaxed. Direct experience is instantly covered by a layer of commentary, judgment, and story. This is the architecture of your prison. It is not made of steel bars but of habitual thoughts. Imagine your mind as a house you have lived in your entire life. You believe this house is the entire world. The walls are your deepest belief systems, the things you know to be true about yourself and the world. I am an anxious person. The world is a dangerous place. I need to work hard to deserve rest. These don't seem like beliefs, they seem like reality itself. They are the plaster walls, so familiar that you no longer even see them as walls, but simply as the way things are. The furniture in this house is your memories. That old, sagging sofa in the corner? That's your first heartbreak. You sit on it so often, reliving the pain, that the shape of your body is permanently imprinted on it. That dusty bookshelf? It's filled with all the grievances you hold against others, each book a detailed record of how you were wronged. You take them off the shelf from time to time, read a few chapters and put them back, keeping the dust of bitterness alive. The windows of your house are covered in a thick grime of anxiety and fear about the future. You may even try to look out to see what's coming, but your vision is always distorted, blurred by the dirt of your habitual worries. You see a future that is just a projection of your past anxieties. And what is constantly playing on the sound system of this house? The ego's radio. A station that plays the same few hits over and over again. The song of self-judgment. The ballad of self-pity. The anthem of comparison. It's a background noise so constant that you've stopped hearing it consciously, but it dictates the mood of every moment of your day. You live in this house, looking at the same walls, sitting on the same furniture, looking through the same dirty windows, listening to the same sad music day after day. And the voice, the architect and caretaker of this house, constantly whispers to you, "This is who you are. There is nothing outside. This house is all there is." The tragedy is not that this house exists. The tragedy is that you have forgotten that it is possible to leave. You have forgotten that perhaps there is a vast open sky outside these walls. You have forgotten that perhaps you are not the inhabitant of the house, but the very consciousness that is aware of the house and everything in it. The proof we seek today is not an intellectual argument to convince you that the house is not real. It is the key. The key that has always been in your pocket, waiting for you to remember to use it. The proof will not destroy the house. It will simply open the door, allowing you to step out into the sunlight for the first time and realize, with a gasp of astonishment, that you were never the house. You are the entire world. Part 2. The immutable witness. Here is the premise, the foundational principle upon which all liberation is built. It is so simple that the mind, in its complexity, almost fails to grasp it. The premise is this: if you can observe something, you cannot be that thing. Let that truth land. Don't analyze it yet. Just feel its weight. If you can observe a thought floating through your mind, you cannot be that thought. If you were the thought, who would be there to observe it? Observation requires a separation, a space between the observer and the observed. You are the observer. The thought is the observed. Let's deepen this house metaphor. Imagine you are sitting in the center of your mental house. You are aware of the walls of your beliefs. You are aware of the furniture of your memories. You are aware of the static of the ego's radio. You are aware of all of it. Now the crucial question, who is this you that is aware? Can the you that is aware be made of the same material as the things it is aware of? Can the consciousness that perceives anxiety be, in itself, anxious? Or must it be, by its very nature, calm and neutral so that anxiety can be registered within it? Imagine a mirror. A perfect mirror. It reflects everything that passes before it. It reflects a smiling face and for a moment, it appears happy. It reflects a stormy scene and for a moment, it appears turbulent. It reflects emptiness and it appears empty. But does the mirror itself ever become the things it reflects? Does the mirror become happy? Does the mirror become the storm? No. The nature of the mirror is to be clear, receptive, and empty. Its function is to reflect. It allows all images to appear within it, but it never identifies with any of them. Your consciousness, your true nature, is like that mirror. Your mind is the endless stream of images passing before the mirror. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, memories, hopes, fears. They are all fleeting images. They appear, stay for a while, and then disappear to be replaced by the next image. And you, the mirror consciousness, have been faithfully reflecting each of these images your entire life. The trap, the great illusion, is that you fell in love with the reflection. You identified with the images in the mirror. When the reflection of a sad thought appeared, you said, I am sad. When the reflection of a painful body appeared, you said, I am pain. You forgot that you were the mirror and believed yourself to be the passing reflection. The proof that you are not your mind is this very act of recognition. In this very moment, as you understand this concept, who is doing the understanding? Is it the mind trying to understand itself? Or is it consciousness, the mirror, recognizing its own nature for the first time? It is the silent recognition that you are the presence that witnesses, the stillness that allows all the noise of the mind to happen. You are the space where experience unfolds. You are not the experience itself. This is the most important distinction a human being can make. It is the difference between slavery and freedom. Because as long as you believe you are the reflection, you will be tossed back and forth by every image that appears. But when you remember that you are the mirror, you become still, immutable, free. You rest in your own unchanging nature, while the show of the mind continues its dance. Part 3. The direct investigation. The theory is elegant, but the proof cannot be theoretical. The proof must be a direct, irrefutable experience that occurs in the laboratory of your own awareness. This is the time to stop talking about the key and actually use it to open the door. This practice is a form of self-inquiry, inspired by great sages like Ramana Maharshi. It is a journey inward to discover what you are not, in order to reveal what you are. I invite you to sit comfortably. Close your eyes if that helps you turn inward. Take a few slow, deep breaths, not to achieve anything but simply to signal to your body that it is safe to relax. It is safe to let your guard down. Now let's begin the investigation. With your attention turned inward, ask the first question silently, am I my body? To answer this, become intensely aware of your body. Feel its weight, its density. Feel the contact of your feet with the floor, the pressure of the chair against your back. Feel the subtle sensations. An itch on your arm, a warmth on your cheek, the feeling of your heart beating steadily in your chest. Are there any aches? Any pleasures? Explore the sensory landscape of your body. Now the crucial question, who is aware of all these sensations? A sensation of pain arises in your leg. You are aware of it. The sensation is there, the awareness of it is here. These are two different things. The body and its sensations are constantly changing. Pain comes and goes. Pleasure comes and goes. Cells are dying and being replaced. The body you have today is not the same body you had 7 years ago. But the awareness that has been aware of this body, throughout all its changes, has remained the same. It is the constant witness. Therefore, can you be the body? Or are you the awareness that is aware of the body? Rest in this realization. I have a body, but I am not my body. Now let's move to the second layer. Ask the question silently, am I my mind? Am I my thoughts? To answer this, simply observe the stream of thoughts that passes through your awareness. Don't try to control them. Just watch. A thought about work. A fragment of a song. A worry about a loved one. An image of something that happened yesterday. They arise from nowhere, linger for a moment, and disappear back into nowhere. They are like clouds passing in the sky. They are fleeting, impermanent, unstable. Now again the crucial question, who is aware of these thoughts? If you can watch a thought arise and disappear, you cannot be that thought. You are the space in which thoughts appear. You are the sky, not the clouds. The mind is a flow of incessant activity, but you, the consciousness that observes it, are still and silent. You are the presence that was here before the first thought and will be here after the last. Therefore, can you be the mind? Or are you the awareness that is aware of the mind? Rest in this realization. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. Finally, the most subtle layer. Ask the question, am I my emotions? To answer this, allow yourself to feel whatever emotion is present right now. Maybe there is a sense of peace. Maybe a subtle anxiety. Maybe boredom. Whatever it is, feel it as pure energy in the body. Joy might feel like an expansive vibration in the chest. Fear might feel like a tight knot in the stomach. Sadness might feel like a heavy, empty sensation. Emotions are like the weather. They come and go. A wave of anger might arise, but it doesn't last forever. It dissipates. A wave of joy might arise, and it too dissipates. They are impermanent. But who is aware of these waves? The consciousness that perceives joy is not in itself joyful. The consciousness that perceives sadness is not in itself sad. It is the neutral witness, the space that allows all emotions to be felt. Therefore, can you be your emotions? Or are you the consciousness that is aware of your emotions? Rest in this realization. I have emotions, but I am not my emotions. So what is left? If you are not your body, not your mind, and not your emotions, who are you? Don't look for an answer in words. The answer is not a thought. The answer is the very presence that is asking the question. It is this silent, open, spacious awareness that is right here, right now. It is the only thing in your entire experience that doesn't change. It is the only thing that is constant. This is the proof. Not as a logical argument, but as a lived experience. You are the witness. You are consciousness. And everything else, body, mind, emotions, the entire world, is a passing show that appears within you. Part 4. The perennial philosophy. This discovery you have just made within your own being is not new. It is the beating heart of the perennial philosophy, the universal wisdom that lies at the core of all the world's great spiritual traditions, from the Upanishads of ancient India to the teachings of the Zen masters and the writings of Christian mystics like Meister Eckhart. It is the truth that ultimate reality is not found in the world of phenomena, but in the consciousness that perceives phenomena. The great 20th century philosopher and sage, Jiddu Krishnamurti, dedicated his life to pointing to this very truth, but he did so with a clarity and a refusal of method that was unique. Krishnamurti offered no techniques or systems. He simply invited people to look, to observe, without the interference of the thinker. One of his most penetrating statements is, "The observer is the observed." Person in lotus position. At first glance, this might seem to contradict what we have just experienced. Didn't we just prove that we are the observer and not the things that are observed? But Krishnamurti takes us one step deeper, to the ultimate collapse of duality. What he meant is that the very act of labeling yourself as the observer is another trick of the mind. It is the thought creating a separate entity, an I, that is watching. True observation, pure awareness has no center. There is no little person, an observer, sitting inside your head looking out at the thoughts. There is just the observing. There is just the seeing. There is just the hearing. When you are fully present, the sense of a separate you having an experience vanishes. There is only the experience itself. The sky doesn't say, "I am watching the clouds." The sky is simply the space in which the clouds happen. This is a subtle but crucial point. The mind, upon hearing that you are the witness, immediately creates a new identity for itself. Okay, now I am the witness. And it takes pride in its new spiritual status. But true liberation is seeing through even this identity. It is realizing that your nature is not that of a thing that observes, but the very open, formless space of observation itself. This is echoed in Advaita Vedanta, the non-dual tradition of India, with its distinction between the seer, drashta, and the seen, drishya. The ultimate teaching is that the seer and the seen are ultimately one, both appearing in Brahman, the undivided, unified consciousness. In Taoism, it is the still point at the center of the turning wheel, the emptiness from which all creation emerges. In Christian mysticism, it is the spark of the soul, or the ground of the soul, the part of us that is identical with God, the part that was never born and will never die. So, know that the proof you have found in your own experience does not isolate you. It connects you to a lineage of truth seekers stretching back millennia. You are rediscovering for yourself humanity's most precious inheritance. The knowledge that you are not the small, fearful person your mind has told you that you are. You are the vast, silent, unchanging awareness that is the source and substance of all existence. You are not looking at the universe. You are the universe looking back at itself through a pair of human eyes. Part 5. Deepening into stillness. Let's pause here. Allow the magnitude of what is being revealed to settle. not as a concept but as a vibration in your being. The proof that you are not your mind is not something you gain or achieve. It is something you recognize. It is a remembering of your natural state. It is a returning home. If this remembering is starting to stir something within you, if you feel the truth of it resonating beyond the intellect in the silence of your heart, then I invite you to acknowledge this moment. Click the like button below. Make it a conscious act. A silent affirmation that you are choosing awareness over mind, freedom over prison. Each like is like a bell ringing in the collective consciousness, a sound that can help awaken another person who is trapped in the same dream, believing they are their own suffering. Let's create a symphony of awakening together. Now, let's use this moment to deepen into the quality of this consciousness that you have rediscovered. For so long you have been identified with the mind. And what is the quality of the mind? It is noisy. It is restless. It is always moving, always wanting something, always resisting something. It is a state of perpetual agitation. But what is the quality of this awareness, this witnessing presence? Turn towards it now. Feel it. The first thing you might notice is its stillness. It is not a forced stillness but an inherent stillness. It is the silence that was here before the first sound and will remain after the last. It is the silent screen behind the noisy movie. Feel that stillness. It is not empty. It is full of potential, full of peace. The second quality you might notice is its spaciousness. The mind feels tight, contracted, claustrophobic. But consciousness is vast. It is open. It is limitless. It has room for everything. It has room for pain, for joy, for anxiety, for peace. Nothing can overwhelm it. Nothing can fill it up. It is like space itself. No matter how many planets, stars, or galaxies exist within it, space itself never gets full. It remains open, welcoming, undisturbed. Feel that spaciousness within you. You are vast enough to contain the entire universe. The third quality is peace. This is not the peace that comes from having everything your way. That is a conditional, fragile peace. This is the peace that is your very nature. It is the peace of the mirror, undisturbed by the reflections. It is the peace of the sky, unblemished by the clouds. It is the peace that is always present, beneath the turbulent surface of your mind and emotions. It is not something you need to create. It is something you need only to notice. Stillness, spaciousness, peace. This is your true nature. This is your home. For your entire life, you have been a king living in exile, wandering through foreign lands in search of a palace that was already yours. The spiritual path is not a journey to some distant destination. It is simply the act of turning around and recognizing the magnificence of the place where you have always been. It is the act of ceasing to search and beginning to see. Part 6. The space between thoughts. Now let's embark on a second experiment, a second proof. This one is perhaps even more subtle, but for many, it is the irrefutable experience that breaks the spine of the illusion once and for all. We are going to look for the space between thoughts. Most of us experience thinking as a continuous stream, an endless monologue, a river of words and images with no beginning and no end. We believe we are thinking all the time. But this too is an illusion. Thought, by its very nature, is not continuous. It arises in pulses, in packets. Between one thought and the next there is always a gap, a space. Most of the time this gap is so infinitesimally short that we don't notice it. The mind jumps from one thought to the next so quickly that it creates the illusion of a solid flow. Our task now is to become gap hunters. We are going to sit on the bank of the river of the mind, not just to observe the leaves, the thoughts, floating by, but to look for the empty spaces of clear water in between them. So once again, close your eyes, settle your body, and simply begin to observe your mind. But this time with a keen, vigilant attention. Stand guard. Watch for a thought to arise. See it clearly. And then as it fades away, wait. Be alert. What comes next? It might be that, for a brief moment, nothing comes next. For a tenth of a second, for half a second, there is just silence. Emptiness. Pure awareness devoid of any object. That is the space. That is the gap. In the beginning, the very act of looking for it might make the mind even noisier. This is normal. The mind doesn't like to be observed in this way. It feels exposed. So be patient. Don't force it. Don't strain. Just sit and watch with a relaxed curiosity. It's like waiting for a shy bird to land in your garden. If you make too much noise, it won't come. You must be still and quiet. And then it will happen. A thought will end, and before the next one begins, you will sense it. A moment of pure presence. In that moment, where are you? The thinking I, the person with a history and problems, does not exist in that gap. Because that I is constructed of thoughts. When thought stops, the I disappears. What remains? Only awareness. Only being. Only the mirror without a reflection. Only the sky without clouds. This is the most direct proof possible. You have experienced a moment, however brief, without the mind. And yet you were still there. Your awareness was there fully. In fact, it was more vibrant and alive than ever, because it wasn't being veiled by the noise of thought. This proves beyond any doubt that you and your mind are not the same thing. You can exist without a thought. But a thought cannot exist without you, the awareness, to perceive it. Practicing gap observation is a powerful meditation. Over time you will find that the gaps begin to lengthen. The river of the mind, which once was a raging torrent, starts to slow down. There is more space between the thoughts. And you begin to inhabit that space. You begin to live in the stillness, in the peace of your true nature, and only watch the occasional thoughts float by, no longer identifying with them. This gap, this space of no mind, is the source of all creativity, all intuition, all deep wisdom. It is the place from which great works of art and scientific breakthroughs arise. It is the silence from which the most beautiful music is born. And it is your birthright. It is always here, deep down, beneath the noise, waiting for you to pay attention. Part 7. Freedom from suffering. Now that we have proven, through direct experience, that we are not our minds, let's explore the most liberating and transformative implication of this truth. If you are not your mind, then you are not the suffering of your mind. Think about it. What is psychological suffering? Where does it come from? Anxiety, depression, worry, fear, resentment, guilt, shame. These are all products of the thinking mind. They do not exist in reality. They exist as stories, interpretations, and projections in your head. Anxiety is the mind living in a future that doesn't exist, imagining negative outcomes. Depression and resentment are the mind living in a past that no longer exists, ruminating on old wounds and injustices. Fear is the mind projecting a danger that is likely not real. Suffering is a product of psychological time, and psychological time is a creation of the mind. If you identify with the mind, you identify with its suffering. You become the story of your anxiety, the story of your depression, the story of your victimhood. And you live inside that story, feeling its weight, believing in its limitations. But what happens when you realize you are not the mind? What happens when you know from experience that you are the spacious, silent awareness in which the mind appears? The suffering may still arise. The mind may still produce an anxious thought. The body may still feel the energy of fear. But you are no longer identified with it. You are no longer the character in the drama. You are the audience watching the play unfold. You can observe the anxious thought arising and say, "Oh, look at that. The mind is doing its anxiety thing again." You can feel the energy of fear in your body and breathe into it, allowing it to be there, knowing it is just a passing wave in the vast ocean of your being. The pain may still be there, but the suffering begins to dissolve. Pain is the raw sensation. Suffering is the story the mind tells about the pain. It is the resistance, the "I don't want this," the "why me?" When you stop identifying with the mind, you stop believing the story. You can be with the pain without the suffering. Imagine your mind as a radio station that you can't turn off. It's always playing something. Sometimes it plays a beautiful symphony of joy. But most of the time, especially if left unobserved, it plays static, scary news and sad songs about the past. For your whole life you have believed that you were the radio. You believed that you were the music. And so, when the music was sad, you were sad. When there was static, you felt confused and agitated. The realization that you are not your mind is the moment you realize you are not the radio. You are the listener. You are the silent room in which the radio is playing. The music is still there. The static might still be there. But you are no longer defined by it. You can observe it. And because you can observe it, you can develop a new relationship with it. You no longer have to be a victim of whatever is playing. You might even start to find it a bit comical, the repetitive and dramatic nature of the ego's radio. And most importantly, you realize that you can always shift your attention away from the radio and towards the silence of the room itself. The peace you were seeking was never in finding the right radio station. The peace was always in the silence that is listening to the radio. This is freedom from suffering. It is not an escape but a transcendence through awareness. Part 8. Real-world application. This awareness is not meant to be an experience only for the meditation cushion. It is not a refuge you flee to from the world. It is a tool, a new way of being, that you must bring into your everyday life, into the marketplace, into the messiness of your relationships and responsibilities. This is where the rubber meets the road. Let's make this practical. Imagine the scenario: you are in a difficult conversation with a loved one. They say something that triggers you, that presses an old button of insecurity or anger. What usually happens? Instantly you are identified. The mind reacts. The story begins. They always do this. They don't respect me. I need to defend myself. The adrenaline rises. The heart races. You lash out or shut down. The result is always the same. More pain, more separation. Now, how do you apply your newfound awareness in this moment? The trigger still happens. The words are still said. But because you have been practicing observation, something new is possible. The moment the words hit you, you feel the reaction starting to rise in your body, the heat in your chest, the tightness in your throat. But instead of being instantly swept away by it, you remember, I'm not this reaction. I am the awareness that is aware of the reaction. In that moment, a gap opens up. A split second of space between the stimulus and your habitual response. And in that space lies your freedom. You can observe the anger rising like a wave of energy. You can observe the defensive thought forming in your mind. But you don't have to believe it. You don't have to act from it. You can simply breathe. You can remain anchored in your conscious presence, in the silent space that is witnessing the whole drama. From that space, your response will be entirely different. Maybe you say nothing. Maybe you simply listen, allowing the other person to feel heard. Maybe you do respond, but from a place of clarity and not reactivity. You might say something like, when you say that, I feel a sense of hurt arising in me. Can you tell me more about what you meant? The entire dynamic shifts. You have moved from being an unconscious reactor to a conscious responder. Let's try another scenario. You are at work, overwhelmed with deadlines, feeling the stress building. The mind is racing, jumping from one worry to the next. I'm never going to finish this on time. My boss is going to be disappointed. I'm going to fail. Normally, this spiral of thoughts would lead to panic. But now, in the midst of the chaos, you remember. You pause. You breathe. And you disengage from the mind. You become the witness. You observe the panicking mind as if you were watching a scene from a movie. You don't get caught up in the thoughts. You just notice them. And then, you bring your attention back to the present moment. To the sensation of your breath. To the feeling of your hands on the keyboard. To the task that is right in front of you. You deal with one thing at a time from a place of calm presence, rather than future-projected anxiety. You find that, without the weight of your mind's panic story, you are actually far more efficient, creative, and focused. This is the work. Bringing this awareness into the most challenging and the most mundane moments. Every moment of irritation in traffic, every moment of boredom in the grocery line, every moment of fear about the bills, is an opportunity to practice. It's an opportunity to remember who you are. It's an opportunity to choose freedom over habit. Little by little, moment by moment, you will no longer just be practicing presence. You will be living from it. It will become your new default state. Part 9. The ocean of consciousness. As you become more established in this place of silent witness, a new realization might begin to dawn. One that expands this liberating truth from a personal realization to a cosmic understanding. You have noticed the quality of the consciousness you have discovered. It is silent, peaceful, spacious, unchanging. Now, consider this. The silent awareness within me, that is witnessing my thoughts and feelings, has the exact same quality as the silent awareness within you, that is witnessing yours. And it has the same quality as the awareness within every sentient being on this planet. The thoughts are different. The bodies are different. The life stories are radically different. But the space of awareness in which all these phenomena appear is the same. This leads to a staggering conclusion. Perhaps there are not billions of separate, individual consciousnesses. Perhaps there is only one consciousness, one being, looking out through billions of pairs of eyes, experiencing itself from billions of unique perspectives. This is the metaphor of the ocean and the waves, found in many traditions. Imagine the ocean of unified consciousness. From this ocean, countless waves arise. Each wave, you, me, every person, every animal, every plant, has a unique form, a unique lifespan. It rises, travels a certain distance, and then returns to the ocean. While in the form of a wave, it might look at the other waves and think, I am separate from you. I am this wave here, and you are that wave there. It might feel alone, isolated, afraid of its eventual crashing. But what is the substance of the wave? It is water. And what is the substance of the wave next to it? It is water. The substance of every wave is the entire ocean. The wave is not just in the ocean. It is the ocean temporarily expressing itself as a wave. The separation is an illusion of perspective. When you identify with the mind, with the body, with your personal story, you are identifying with the form of the wave. You feel small, separate, and mortal. But when you realize that your true nature is the silent awareness that witnesses, you are identifying with the substance of the wave, with the water. You are remembering that you are the ocean. And what does this mean? It means that the separation between you and I is an illusion. It means that what I do to you, I do to myself. It means that your joy is my joy and your pain is my pain, because at the deepest level, we are the same being. This realization is the birth of true compassion. Compassion ceases to be a moral act of being good to others. It becomes the natural, spontaneous response of recognizing yourself in the other. When you look into the eyes of another person, you are no longer just looking at their personality, their mask. You are looking beyond that, into the same silent, luminous awareness that dwells within you. You are meeting yourself again and again. The world ceases to be a collection of others, and becomes a multifaceted mirror of your own infinite self. You are no longer alone in a hostile universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself in a dance of infinite variety and underlying unity. Part 10. The final epiphany, the return to being. And so, we come to the end of our journey of proving, only to discover that there is no end and no journey. There is only a return to the place we never left. The proof that you are not your mind is not, ultimately, a logical argument or a philosophical discovery. It is the direct, undeniable, self-evident experience of your own silent presence. It is a knowing that resides not in thoughts or words, but in the stillness of your own being. You have proven to yourself that you are not your body, because you are the awareness that perceives it. You have proven to yourself that you are not your mind, because you can observe your thoughts and inhabit the space between them. You have proven to yourself that you are not your emotions, because you are the space that allows them to come and go. So who are you? You are the silence that hears the sound. You are the space that contains the universe. You are the stillness that witnesses movement. You are the consciousness in which all experience is born, dances for a while, and dies. You are the eternal mirror, and your mind is just one of the infinite reflections that pass across you. For your whole life, you have been hypnotized by the movie, believing yourself to be one of the suffering characters on the screen. Now you have awakened. You have remembered that you are the very light of awareness that illuminates the film and the silent screen upon which it is projected. There is nothing you need to do with this realization. There is nothing to achieve. The game of seeking is over. You no longer need to try to quiet your mind. You can let your mind be as noisy as it wants, because you know that it is not you. Its noise can no longer disturb you, just as the roar of a passing train cannot disturb the space through which it travels. You are free. Not a freedom that will come tomorrow or when you achieve a certain state. A freedom that is here, now, in this very awareness that is reading these words. It has always been here. It has never been hidden. It has just been overlooked, veiled by your fascination with the show of thoughts. So breathe. Feel the proof not in your head but in your heart. Feel the peace that has no opposite. Feel the stillness that is the source of all sound. Feel the space that is your true self. This is your refuge. This is your power. This is your home. The proof is complete. You are not the voice. You are not the mind. You are the presence that is aware. And in that awareness, you are one with everything that exists. If this truth has resonated in the stillness of your being, subscribe to this channel. Not to learn more, but to be reminded more often of what you already know. The journey is not about becoming something you are not. It is about simply being what you have always been. Welcome home.